Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Let me get stuff set up because this last week has been a bit of a scavenger hunt in the house for various things. So I kind of just tore everything apart. So uno momento. Let me just get this there. I'll take this. And this can go down here for now. Insert this. Painting stuff can go up there. That's good enough. Ooh, a little mouse pad or something. Not really necessary, but you know, whatever. Put all the documents there. I don't need staples. So I'm going to go with the documents, I guess. We're talking about that. Ooh, there's one more thing I need to talk about, but I'll grab that in a minute. Let me get the chat set up. Eileen, good morning. How we doing? Let me get this pulled out and thrown up so we can chat. How we doing today, Eileen? Okay. And okay. Okay, chat is live, so let's hop over there. Let's get the while I'm getting things set up here. Let me get the share to the Book of Faces, and we're almost ready. Okay, share that, and then I'll do the cross post to everyone. Bloop. Okay. Let's see. Eileen, doing well. Can't stop looking at the new art I got yesterday, and working on some items for all of the great yard sale finds. Ooh, yard sale finds, huh? Before we get too involved here, uno momento, let me grab a box because that's something that I have to talk about as well. But please, tell me about these yard sale finds. Yeah, I got a big box here. Part of what we're talking about today. Let's see. Got a dual chalkboard, whiteboard stand for the craft fair. Good. Glass ornaments for $1, 3 boxes. Good. And a long picture frame to do a cool vinyl prop with my social media. Fantastic. What is... Oh, I love this thing. You know, I almost had this place clean. And then I had to find stuff. So they had to tear everything apart again. Ah, boy. Yeah, dual chalkboard and whiteboard stand. That's good. Ah, awesome. Yeah, I have a chalkboard. I don't have a whiteboard. I do have a whiteboard, but I don't know where it's at. Chalkboard though, very good. you know the chalkboard trick though, right? You want to chalk the whole board first and then clean it, and then you can write on it. Otherwise, if you just start using it, those marks are going to be permanent in it, as opposed to having that chalkboard look and feel. Unless you want to make a permanent chalk sign, then do whatever you want. Yeah, I'm super excited. Good, you should be. That's awesome. That's great news. So we might do this a little later. We'll see how we're looking on time. But you know how I got this guy? And I said I might start a little bit of it, but I'm going to do most of it on the live stream. Yeah, I lied. I have most of it done already. And yo, this thing is super intricate. Like, come on, look at the back of that. Pistons. Like, come on. This thing has so much detail in it. It's obscene. But we might finish him off. There's still some detail pieces. His backpack. So cool. I know! It is so cool. I got... Okay, I was just gonna do the torso and maybe an arm, just to kind of get my feet wet into that whole process again, because it is a lot. But then there's the torso, and then just one arm. Well, you know what? I can make both at the same time because they're just copies of each other, basically. You know what? The head's only like 5 pieces, 10 pieces. Let's just do the head real quick. Then I put it aside, and that was like 9 hours. I come back the next day. Let me just start the legs. Just a little start. And then 5 hours later, the legs are done. The waist is done. And there we are. So, it's addictive. It is addictive doing these models. I remember doing them in high school. And they didn't have this grading system. I think they had like a 5-star grading system and number of hours to complete. And yeah, it was always like, I always go for the hardest ones. And they say, like 24 hours or whatever. And I'd always get them done in like 16 or 14 hours. I was like, yeah. I'd always really cut down the time on them. But those ones were not nearly as complex as this. And this isn't even the most complex one. This is the master grade. So this is the step down from the hardest. And there are so many little pieces. And there's so much little intricate detail and stuff. It's awesome. I don't really get to, for the last like 8 years, I really haven't gotten to indulge in any of my hobbies. And that is one of them. When I was younger, I used to like carving clock towers, and doing these guys, and just a little bullshit that I never wanted to do professionally. It's just a little side thing. It's usually something nerdy. Like I used to get made fun of for it too, because I would carve miniature clock towers. So I would, get a block of balsa wood, and they never turned out really well. But I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade. I'd sit there and carve. I'd try and make it look like a, full-size clock tower. I was never very good at it, but it was just one of those things that kind of fun to do. And then I got involved with doing those Gundams, and then life got in the way. So I'm glad I'm able to do one of those again, because they're fun. It's kind of like one of those things that's kind of like Zen for me. When I'm in there, I'm like, oh yeah, click, click, click. All right, so there's two things to me that are just like entrancing, intoxicating, whatever moniker you want to put on it. The first one is the obvious. Seeing the pieces come together and just these little chunks of plastic start making a thing. The other one for me is using my set of flush trim nippers and seeing how perfect I can cut the piece free. And sometimes the pieces aren't satisfying to cut. It's just kind of a squish. And then I got to come in with a file, because I have my needle files over here, and clean it up. But sometimes, especially on the pieces that have the thicker sprues, and it's the more durable plastic, you get that nice satisfying click. And it's just like smish, smush, click. Ooh, that was nice. So those are the two parts to this that make this really just like my jam. But yeah, so that's that. Let's see, this week on recap, I tore apart one of my shelves at the shop because I'm tired of looking at it, and I had a slight lull, and so I just got this bug up my ass to just tear it apart, take care of it. Let's get it done. So yeah, there's that. And that was just a lot. Just taking that down, because then I had to fix, I had to rip down the ceiling right there because that's all rotted, and then I went and fixed the garage door, which broke another part of it, but that thing is a nightmare. I can't wait to replace that whole system. I'm not sure what system I'm going to use, if I'm going to do an overhead again, or if I'm going to do like barn doors. But that needs to, that system needs to go away. Anyways, so there's that. And I made some cabinets, and I'm starting to get, stuff put back away. So it's I bit off more than I can chew. Unfortunately, Derek is no longer with the company. He ended up getting another job, which offered more stable, more stable employment. Because a lot of the stuff I've been doing it's either, high yield or no yield. So there's a lot of feast and famine with everything. So yeah, I can't blame him. Damn. Yeah, I know, right? He was like the perfect fit. But hey, he has to look out for himself and his family. I can't blame him. He's leaving on good terms. Everything, everything I could ask for. He's a great guy. He's still a great friend of mine, and he's welcome back anytime he wants or needs, whatever. And hopefully, the more I grow, it might be able to, incentivize him to come back in the future. Because my standard rate is 20% of whatever I make, they make, as long as they touch the project in one way or another, either designing for it, building it, fabricating, helping me, just put it together, whatever. They get 20% of what I put in, or 20% of the gross. So yeah, he has 2 more payments for me coming still, so that's going to be good for him. Let's see, what else? The fry lady finally got back to me, and she said, go ahead. She approved the prototypes. So I'm gonna try and whip those out this week. And so another lady got to me, and I'm going to be making a bunch of frames for an art gallery, which requires me to do yet another build, shop build, so I can get that working, which is good. I'm finally getting my router table, which is what that box is. Woohoo! Right? Yeah. Which is what that box is that I got here. So let's open it up. Make sure it's what I need first. Let's open this up. Do I have a knife around here somewhere? I should. I make knives. Why? I make knives. I use knives for everything. Why can I never find a knife? Oh, and by the way, I am cheating on coffee. Sort of. So I went to a wedding last night for one of my best friends, one of my oldest friends, Nicholas McDonald. And it was at a church that's near his parents' house. Hello.
Someone wanted to come say hi.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Hi, buddy. You gotta say hi to people before you leave? You wanna sit on my lap?
I'll sit on Mama's lap.
Okay,
Well,
I'm out here though.
But you gotta get going then, buddy.
Come here, bud.
Go to Mama.
Can I sit on
You
Mama's lap?
You can sit on Mama's lap, but not in here.
Love you, little buddy. Have fun today.
Love you, dog.
Hi, little man. I'll let him know. You said hi. He has found every last nerve I have this week and stepped right on them. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, I went to that wedding last night. It was, I missed that church. A really pretty church, good pastor, father, priest. I'm not sure what his actual moniker is. It doesn't matter. Pretty sure he's not a Monsignor. Saying that, he probably is. Whatever. Yeah, and we, reception at the Hilton, this, that, and the other. It was a beautiful time, fantastic time. Unfortunately, I had a migraine. I've had a migraine for the last 4 days, 5 days. I'm not sure if it's still with me. It might be just hiding for a few minutes. But that did start to act up last night, and that was just, but such is life. Anyways, I got another commission, which requires me to build out the shop just a little bit more, and the assembly table, similar to the last table I had designed in it to have a router cabinet. But to have a router cabinet, you need 3 things. First, you need a router. Second, you need a cabinet, which was built into the design of the table. And third, you need a router plate. Now, it's a box in a box. Now, the router plate I had previous was just a 1/4-inch piece of acrylic that I drilled I countersunk some holes in it to grip the faceplate of the router. I drilled a hole in the center to let the router bit poke up through, and then I put in 2 little finger holes so I could grab the thing without grabbing it by the bit or reaching under the table. This, however, is a router lift by Craig. So this guy, now to adjust the other one and set the height, I had to, reach under, flick release the lever, and then just kind of eyeball it up and down, and then grab my square, and I basically had to be on my hands and knees to adjust it. And then when I got to where I needed, click it, check it again. Hopefully I didn't screw it up between, clicking it shut and checking it. I very often did screw it up, but that's neither here nor there. So this guy is larger than what I had previous. I believe this screws down to the table, where the last one just kind of sat in a recess. Now this I actually have to recess into the table as well, but there's a couple pieces here to to actually mount it to the thing, which makes it safer. And there's this little handle here on top. Now, the way this is it has a insert, so the hole is as close to the router bit as possible, which is nice. So there's 3 of those, 4 of those, doesn't matter. But you can adjust the router so you can have the collet sticking up out of the plate, so you could just change it from the top. You don't have to take the whole thing out, which is nice. And then you have this little key here where you can adjust the whole thing from the top. So yeah. And you can measure the height of the whole thing, and then it has a dial, so you can actually dial in, your perfect height, instead of trying to take a square like I had been. And what the hell is this? Filters or something? I don't know. So I think this would be a much better solution. So let's see what the pieces look like. Okay. Of course, there's a nice little set of instructions. Ooh. What's this here? Routing solutions. Joining solutions, clamping solutions, workspace solutions, routing solutions. Yeah, none of this really is applicable. Well, it is, but Meh. Carriage bolts, micro adjustments, but it looks like everything's pretty much set. I just need to find my motor diameter. Here's the little clamp blocks. And so it has a key. I just take these guys and find out where I mount it, and then there's a little doobly-doo over here, it looks like. So I have a quarter cable, 690, 3.5, so that's the number 5 hole pattern. Is that really all I need? Yeah, and I just strip the thing down and slam it in there and tighten it up right there. Oh, look at that. And then lock, unlock. See, you barely need instructions anymore. Let's see what other doobly-doos this came with. Loads of hemostats. Do I have just scissors? I'm not going to use my fabric scissors. Let's see. Yeah? Okay, so there's a pin. If you're like not using a fence, you use the pin so you can kind of lever against something to get it in there nice. That's just the adjustment thing. Oh, this is really nice, guys. This is heavier than I thought. And yep. So you got your, can you see? I could do it from here. Let's do that. Let's go to the yeah. So you have a center line for your thing. On both sides you have a center line, which is useful. You have your tick mark. Here's your fine adjustment doobly-doo here. These 4 bolts are your fine adjustment to get your carriage perpendicular to your plate if it already isn't. Here's some screw holes to lock it, to screw it down to the table itself. Here's for the different chuck pieces. Beautiful. Way heavier than I anticipated. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a great thing. But yeah, look at that. So lock it, unlock it, fine adjustments. And there's all those hole patterns or whatever for getting it to lock into your to whatever model router you have. So there we go. Let's get back to the chat. Let's look at the rest of the little goodies here that they have. So this whole thing, I have a lot of router projects coming up. Making chairs and stuff, so I could take a blank and work through it like that. Here's that safety pin I was telling you about. Much bulkier than I thought it'd be. I thought it'd just be a little brass insert. This one actually screws in, has some knurling at the top. Very nice. Change the pins. Fine adjustment. Here's the different collars. So I know my panel raising thing, this will not, the largest one here will not fit it. But the idea is that, you know, you have the smallest hole possible next to your router bed. So they can also be bushing guides. Very cool. So I got these guys, and there's the key for those. And what's in here? Yep, and here's just the Allen key, just bloop. Alright, so I don't have, doesn't the mounting screws, really? Whatever. So I need to route that out tomorrow, and then, you know, route out my tabletops and get that mounted in there, and then get the rest of the shelves and stuff put in those cabinets I made. So, but this whole thing was to do a project for a lady, Tatiana, who runs Red Siren Productions. She contacted me. She was actually my wedding photographer. She owns a photography company, and, you know, amongst other stuff, and she has a gallery coming up. So she wants me to build all the frames for all her artwork in the upcoming gallery. To do that, I needed to have the router table set up. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. That's another piece of the assembly table that is getting finished. Yeah, I still have to do cabinet doors, and I still need to get the electricity in there, but I need to get the electricity for the entire shop done. I mean, it's pretty much all rigged up and finished. However, it's not where, well, it's not hooked up to the grid yet. So, you know, as finished as it is, it's unfinished. But I have to finish the ADA ramp. I have to do all of those guys, all the picture frames, and I have to do all of the other doobly-doos. There's a word for them. They're the fry cone holders. So it's going to be a busy, busy, busy week this week. However, we will get there. We will make it work. One way or another, we'll make it work. So yeah, that's the whole show and tell for this week. I guess that's the last week's wrap up and you know, projected for this coming week. So, a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Yeah. I'm almost, I pretty much got all the stuff done hanging up in the whatchamacallit. in the church, which is great. Well, that was why I had to tear everything apart. I needed my climbing harness because it was just awful trying to use an industrial harness for that. I mean, an industrial harness has its place when you can have an upper back attachment. But when your attachment point is below your legs, I just got volunteered for something. Huh. Anyways. Climbing rig, yeah. So had to get my climbing rig. It was just, just kind of a crappy situation. So finally got my climbing rig, got all that done, but I ended up tearing this place apart. On the plus side, I also found a bunch of stuff. Found more calipers, found my hot transfer foil. So it wasn't a waste. But oh my Jesus, I made a mess. That's always fun when someone else volunteers you. Oh yeah, that happens a lot. Oh yeah, Chris can fix it. Chris can fix it. Chris can fix it. Yes, I can fix it. However, I don't want to fix it. Just because I can, just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I want to. We all know I'm going to anyways. So yeah, last week was stupid busy, and this week is fixing up to be quite similar. So yeah, it's there's a lot going on. I hear that. I have a friend who thinks I can fix everything. Well, see, here's the thing. You can fix everything. However, should you? There's definitely a cost-benefit analysis that needs to be done first. And even after that, it's a matter of time and price. Like, is it even worth my time to fix this? I'm going to spend more on parts than I am buying a brand new one. Yeah, friggin' throw it away. Or, listen, I charge $35 an hour to work. That's my baseline, repair things and woodworking and leatherworking price. $35 an hour. Unless it's sentimental, and it's going to cost, if it's going to cost more for me to repair it than it is going to be to buy a new one. All right, well, it was only $6. So if I can't fix it in 5 minutes, it's not worth it. So, it's always a cost-benefit analysis. I have to go into all this fixing thing. And here's the thing. I'm a huge proponent of fixing things. I'm a huge proponent of building things yourself. And I'm going to be getting it. I've made a bunch of shoes for myself. I'm going to be making some more shoes. I have just a million small things like that. However, like my grandma's hutch, probably not worth what it'll cost to fix it, but it's sentimental. But see, that's the thing. It's sentimental. So that's a whole other ball game and pricing structure, because things that are sentimental or things that are passion projects are much harder to put a price on. Like, physically, if it was a hutch. Oh, and by the way, hi. If it was just a hutch, all right, you can just go buy another hutch. Who gives a shit? But if it's your grandma's hutch, you can't go out and buy your grandma's hutch. You might be able to buy one like it, but you can't buy your grandma's hutch. So that's a whole different cost benefit analysis. And usually the sentimentality wins on that, just by nature of the beast. And there are things that fall into that category of every stripe. Whether it's a passion project or or fixing something that's sentimental or something of that nature. There's pieces of jewelry that I've fixed for people or remade for people that really, for the time and materials I put into it, you could have bought one that looks identical in a store, but it wouldn't have been your grandma's diamond, the one that she wore for 30 years. Or I've had this pair of shoes for the last 10 years and I just really want to fix the sole so I can wear them for another 10 years. The rest of them are fine. Oh, you know what? They're $5 shoes. Like, why is... But it's not the cost of materials. It's the miles that were put into it, the life force that held it, the stories and memories around that item. And you can't buy that anywhere. So that's a whole different ballgame, fixing sentimental things. It's also a lot more dicey on my end because I have to make the determination, or the client does, how fixed do you want it? Do you want it brand new? Like, in terms of, let's say, your hutch. Do you want it brand new looking? So completely strip it, replace everything that's broken, fix everything, oil it, stain it, lacquer it, brand new. Or do you want me to leave some character? That squeaky hinge it always pissed my grandfather off, but my grandma would giggle every time she'd open it to get the fine china. So, okay, I don't oil that hinge. I'll oil the rest so they work nice, but that one I'll leave it squeaky. It's the same thing with reclaimed wood. Reclaimed wood is only expensive because of the character. So it's actually worthless, or not worthless, but worth less. If I were to take some barn planking and run it through my planer until it looks exactly like a brand new plank of hemlock. All right, so you want to cut the years off. You want to get rid of the rot, but you don't want to remove the deep weathering. You want to keep those nail holes. Either keep them or fill them with black epoxy. You want to have the wood stabilized and usable, but you don't want to, remove the intrinsic value. So there's, a little dance that goes on there. That is sometimes a difficult line to find. So, it's way more difficult because you're not just looking at black and white. Now you're looking at the feel of something. Whereas, like, let's say I'm making some ADA ramps for the sanctuary. Okay, I don't care about how it feels. Not really. And neither does the American with Disabilities Act. I need to know how far down I have to go. So if it's 20 inches, and I need to have a 12-to-1 pitch. Okay, so 20 inches down, that means it's going to be 20 feet long. There's my drop, there's my length, there's my angle. I have to make it so it's just, a sturdy platform. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, now I can care about some feeling. I'm going to put, this type of railing on it or that type of railing on it. Stain it this color, stain it that color, whatever. But even then, it's just it's a black and white determination. Okay, so I wanted to have the same feeling as the balustrades that were original to the church. Okay, well, I can copy those and manipulate it this way, that way. Done. But like going back to Grandma's hutch, do I sand it all the way down? Do I want to leave a few rough spots? When I finish it, do I want to make it look like it's slightly worn? So that requires 2 coats of paint, so I could sand through the first to expose the second, and then lacquer everything. So there's a lot of different delineations that need to be made, and it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more rewarding. It's also a lot more challenging. That was an interesting little TED Talk. Thank you. I really love getting into the weeds of things like this. It's fun to talk about for me. With that, I'm actually going to. I think I'm going to actually start doing TikTok videos. Just talking about stuff, basically like this. I'll do some manliness stuff. I'll do some philosophy stuff, but most of it will be centered on making. I think. I'm not going to do skits or anything, but I'm going to do, 2-minute tips or something like that. And I actually have 2 videos I need to upload to YouTube anyways. But I think once I start getting into that, I think it'll be a fun little ditty to do, and it'll be a lot easier for me to create content because it's not this big production. It's just going to be me, grabbing the thing and being like blah 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 blah. Post. And then go over to my YouTube, go to the Facebook fan page, and see more. Someone is being a cantankerous little brat. He's being a real brat. So, now that I got all that talking out of the way, let's work on the model a little bit. Let's get this back here. This guy. That's the next section I'm working on. Next section is the backpack. So let's get this guy over here so you can kind of follow along with me a little bit. Is that good? Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's pop over that so you can see how I've been losing my mind. I love this stuff. I love it. Okay, so to start over here, I have to build 2 of these guys. So D1 is this. So I need to do 5. Which are these guys? Where's my nippers? Just had them. Here they are. Now this is one of those ones that got to be careful where you're cutting at, but it's listen. No, that's a soft one. Take this guy here. There's that satisfying snap. There's also something satisfying to me about seeing these trees start becoming more and more barren. To me, it's the same satisfaction as, you know, seeing check boxes, you know, get filled up. So like this one's completely empty now. I know I no longer have to come back to this one. It's off my plate. I'm that much closer. B 35 and 2 37s. It's a C, E, A, 2, C. I'm looking for B, right? Yeah. F, B, 35 and 2 37s. There's 35. What was it? 37s. Oh, here we go. We're gonna get a satisfying pop here. I don't know. There we go. Oop. Man down. That's a problem. And of course, this happens while I'm filming, right? That's gone forever. Now I'll just find it later. It's good because we're almost out of time anyways. So I'll just do the other side and see what that looks like and probably call it a day. Let's see. It's that one B, and here's another B. But this is... I love that snap. And there's a lot of people who say this isn't real model making, because I'm just cutting pieces out and assembling them. And to those people I say, okay, sure, whatever. Whatever floats your boat, Jimbo. Because I'm not here for the competitive part of it or any of that jazz. I'm here just to do something that I enjoy. Something that's, to me, lighthearted, meditative, and all those other little monikers. So I take this guy, and it looks like there's a little nub there. That's supposed to go down. And then that there, got one of these over here. And these look like they just slide onto that. Yeah. Take that guy and slide that into that slot. Take this guy, slide him into this spot. Oh. I can pre-assemble this one at least till I find the other fin. That little nub goes down. This guy slides on like that. Oh, like this. I need to go to F. One of these guys. F2. F116. There's 16. I've noticed that the white ones and the black ones have a snap to them more often than not, which is the satisfying part. There it is. There's one of those cracks. Oh, I love it. Love it. I don't know what the difference is other than the color. I know there's got to be some sort of chemical difference that makes, you know, one stiffer than the other and whatever else. Stiffer. Now, how now, brown cow? Okay, so this guy goes here and fits into those plates somehow. There. And see, to me, the cool thing about this whole spiel is you can stop wherever you want, but like there's a lot of little detail in here too that's washed out just because of the color. But there's even details on the insides. Little panel lines, little stuff. So you can stop having this, just dry assemble it and call it good. You can. However, you can also go back and paint all the little pieces, you know, different colors, and then go back and weather them and wash them and make it look, with every edition of that though, it also looks and feels more and more real. So you determine where you want to stop. I mean, I could stop once all the pieces are cut and assembled and have that. I can go back and do a wash of black so it pops all those panel lines. I can battle damage it. I can paint it and then do the black wash. There's so much you can do with this stuff that it really is kind of wherever you want to leave it. C20. That's my C20. That one's missing. That might have been a part I cut out earlier by mistake. Yeah, I do that from time to time. I get excited, and sometimes I cut the wrong pieces out, so I kind of have to just have them sitting on the side, and they're in here somewhere. Yeah, C20. Yep. This is that black plastic here. So whenever you're doing something like this, flush trim bits are the way to go. Now you can use the regular standard diagonal cutters. I have a set over here somewhere. And then all you have to do is cut back further from the sprue. And then either take an X-Acto or something and cut it final, and do a little sanding, and that's a many extra steps. But if you use a pair of flush trim cutters, like so, that's the cutting edge right there, instead of slightly recessed as your regular diagonal cutters are. You can get right up to the part and cut exactly where you need to. So it just makes it a little bit nicer, a little bit faster, a little bit nicer, less cleanup of each piece. So I need B30, 36, and 29. So 30 and 29 and 36. You just have to make sure you're actually cutting where you're supposed to be cutting. Because, okay, yes, this is much faster. However, with the diagonal cutters and having to come back with a knife and a file, it's much easier to cut the wrong piece. So yes, it's faster, there's less cleanup, but there's also more risk if you don't pay attention. But that's kind of the nature of the beast with anything that's, there we go, that speeds up your productivity. I need to do 2 of those. So let me find that other piece real quick. There you are. And then I need the bees. I need the bees! Where's the other bee? So this is one of those things that is just super relaxing for me. Alright, so I take this little guy and this guy here. And so that's you. And that's you. So we'll do pop you in there. And then you go facing that way. Like that. And I mean, you can always just come back in here if something's any you know, didn't pop out quite well, and just take a little needle file or nail file, and it's all really soft plastic, so it's easy to manipulate. That's why it's also so easy to accidentally cut it wrong. That and that. And another part. You also have to make sure you have the right orientation of your parts, because sometimes they're just a little slightly different, and it might not make a sense or be apparent during the sub-assembly, but once you start assembling the larger pieces together, then it becomes a problem. So next, E8. Oh, back to a white piece. So I'll do pop. Satisfying snap. Really is. Listen to that. So nice. Such satisfaction. And here's what I want to really highlight about these guys. Like, this is an inside piece, and you get all those little details. That's the outside. Yeah, there's detail. But there's also detail inside the piece that you're never going to see after it's assembled. That's where the, to me, that's where the magic comes from. So, holy moly, we're over time. I'm going to put these two pieces together and we'll wrap it up. Boop. And boop. right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. I know there's a lot of different things I talked about. I kind of jumped around from topic to topic, but I always do. I'm never super consistent with how I talk about things or when I talk about them. That's the nature of my brain. It's all over the place and half fried. I wish I could say it was, fried from something fun like doing drugs or something. It's just, no, I just run myself until there's nothing left and I'm burnt out. But doing stuff, like this model making and stuff, it lets me slow down and concentrate on something really delicate and intricate and fun. So it's stuff like that I care a great deal about. Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to share a little bit of this hobby I have with you guys. It's not something I do very often. Actually, the last time I was able to indulge in any hobby is when my grandfather died, and I put together those little metal sculptures. And before that, it was, when my grandma died, I did some more metal sculptures, and then before that, it was high school. The last time I did one of these. So it's not something I'm able to indulge in very often. But when I do, it calms me down and helps heal my soul. And I'm glad I was able to share that with you. Yeah. So guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like all this content, like, comment, subscribe, that whole thing. If you want to support me, go to patreon.com/Knightsmith. It's, other than buying stuff from me, it's the best way to say, here's $1 a month or here's $5 a month. Cup of coffee. My patrons are awesome people. They help me out way more than you can imagine. Like even a couple bucks a month. What's a couple bucks a month? But to me it means a lot. Not just physically it's a lot of money, but it's also it's more sentimental. Like there's people out there who just want to see me succeed. And those are the people I love. So go to patreon.com/Knightsmith and support me if you can. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thank you for helping make this world better, one kerf at a time. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.